Earned value analysis compares the planned amount of work with what was actually completed to determine if the cost, schedule, and work accomplished are progressing in accordance with the plan. In a traditional project, the project manager would be responsible for calculating earned value. In a Scrum project, the role player who is responsible for earned value management is the product owner, with the assistance of the rest of the Scrum team. In a Scrum project, planned value is based on the sum of the value given to the user stories that are to be completed. These values are determined in the sprint planning meeting. Each user story is assessed for complexity rather than hours of effort. This is because the time taken to complete the work will vary depending on the experience of the team member, but the complexity can be agreed by the team in the planning meeting. When all the user stories have been estimated, the product owner can use the sum of all the points to arrive at the accumulated planned value for the sprint. The planned value graph is a straight line from 0 to the accumulated planned value because at the planning meeting, none of the work has been allocated. The calculation and updating of earned value is based on the outcomes of each daily stand-up meeting. The stand-up meeting is a report of expected and actual progress, a day at a time. Every time a user story is declared to be done, the earned value for the sprint and the project changes. The product owner decides whether a completed user story has met all the acceptance criteria, in which case it is done. There is only one earning rule used in calculating earned value in a Scrum, and that is the 0-100 rule. That is because a user story that has not met all the acceptance criteria is not done, and there is no such thing as a partially completed user story. Where a user story has been accepted as done, the points allocated to it during the sprint planning meeting can be added to the earned value to date, and the graph can be updated. Depending on the project, this can happen right away or can be completed on a weekly basis. This graph can be displayed next to the sprint burn down chart, which it complements. Ideally, the top of the earned value curve should intersect the planned value curve, which means that every item in the sprint backlog has been done. This does not always happen for a number of reasons. 1. The team chose too much work for the sprint, and some needs to be reprioritized for future sprints. 2. All the work was completed, but was not done. For instance, the work did not meet all the acceptance criteria and must be taken forward to be reprioritized for future sprints. 3. The least critical stories in the backlog were not completed because the team ran out of time, and it has been decided to drop these stories altogether, as they are not critical to delivering a working and viable product at the end of the project. The earned value graph can also be used again at the retrospective. For example, a graph where costs were too high or earned value did not match the plan offers an opportunity to discuss how the process can be improved for the next sprint. Earned value analysis is invaluable because it is an objective method for demonstrating whether a project is delivering the expected value both during and on completion of the project. In Scrum projects, where the project is executed in sprints, the sprint review meeting is an appropriate place to report on earned value. Stakeholders can then decide what action to take before the next sprint, based on whether the value earned to date and the project costs are aligned with the planned value.